Dresden, it is the state capital of the Free State of Saxony and has approximately 572,000 inhabitants in the year 2023. And it is also one of the largest cities in Eastern Germany. Dresden is currently experiencing an economic upswing, making the city one of the most promising investment locations in Germany. With a dynamic growth region and significant economic strengths, Dresden and its surrounding area are extremely attractive to investors. Anyone who wants to learn about the exciting reasons why now is the right time to invest in real estate in Dresden should definitely stay tuned. Welcome to the new podcast From Saver to Investor. My name is Fabian Schuster and my vision is to narrow the gap between rich and poor in the German-speaking region. How can we achieve this? Well, when I'm not sitting here in front of the microphone, I have been working for over 10 years as a managing director and consultant in our company Capricorn for exactly this reason. And together, we have independently supported over 600 people in making the transition from saver to investor. And in collaboration with our clients, we have not only built high 7 or even 8-figure assets, but also preserved them. And it is precisely this experience-based knowledge that we want to share with you here for free through our podcast and our YouTube channel. We are starting the podcast with a bold thesis. We see Dresden as a promising, if not the most promising, location in Germany. The potential here is so high that Dresden could become a strong economic competitor to cities like Munich or Stuttgart in the coming decades, or in the long run, you never know, maybe even surpass them. Of course, we don't just make such a statement without backing it up. That's why we are going to look at the factors contributing to this economic upswing. First, we will discuss the forecast for population growth. The current population was 572,240 in 2023. Then there are short-term forecasts. It is currently expected that approximately 2,900 people are expected annually. So there is growth, but it is slightly lower on a net basis because currently more people are dying than are being born. This is the short-term perspective. The midterm forecast is that by 2030 there will be an increase to approximately 577,000 to 580,000 inhabitants. This is being forecasted. In the long term, by 2038, the population is expected to exceed 600,000 inhabitants for the first time. For 2040, it is cautiously assumed, as it is still a long way off, that the population will remain well over 600,000, between 603,000 and 605,000 people. The percentage growth, which always interests many, is expected to be about 33,400 inhabitants, or approximately 5.9% from 2023 to 2040. However, it must be said that previous forecasts have had to be revised repeatedly because the current forecast and where Dresden currently stands are significantly higher than what earlier estimates had indicated. In 2022, the estimate was still a maximum of 578,000 inhabitants by the year 2040. There are indeed reasons for the growth, and these are very compelling reasons. Firstly, the influx of many people, particularly skilled workers, due to the economic dynamism and technology in research. When I think about it, back then, when I was in university or training, many also came here to study, for example, at the Technical University, which is an excellence university, more on that later, or at the University of Applied Sciences for Technology and Economics, or in many highly regarded vocational training programs. What happened after university? Well, my fellow students, almost all of them went somewhere else, to other cities in Germany or Europe, because there was more money to be earned elsewhere. The whole situation has now turned around and changed because wages have also increased significantly. The city's attractiveness is also due to a particularly high quality of life, many cultural offerings, and a really good infrastructure. Very, very high. These forecasts show that Dresden is expected to experience steady population growth in the coming years and decades, which will even exceed previous expectations. The economic strength and diversity in Dresden is very, very high. Because Dresden is the economically strongest location in the new federal states and a stronghold of technology, the city has developed into a leading center for microelectronics, nanotechnology, IT, and life sciences. Since its founding in 2000, Silicon Saxony, which some of you may have heard of, has created a strong network structure entirely through self-financing. This network successfully connects manufacturers, suppliers, service providers, colleges, universities, research institutes, as well as public institutions and industry-relevant startups in the economic region of Saxony and beyond. Because of this, Dresden is the most modern and largest semiconductor location in Europe. The capital of Saxony is therefore considered a top region for forward-looking technologies such as nanoelectronics. Already every third chip in the EU that is installed comes from Dresden. Therefore, it is not surprising that now Bosch, Infineon, and Global Foundries, as well as renowned chip manufacturers like TSMC, are settling in Dresden with investments in the billions and expanding their presence in the emerging city. Renowned companies are headquartered here, and the city continuously attracts new investments. Just a small excerpt of the well-known players already mentioned: Global Foundries in Dresden, a leading company from New York in microelectronics, manufacturing semiconductor products, and one of the largest employers here in the region. Infineon, for example, also has a branch in Dresden and is a significant player in the semiconductor industry, specializing in electronic components. Then there is EFW Elbe Flugzeugwerke. This company specializes in the maintenance and modification of aircraft and aircraft construction and is based in Dresden. SAP is also a leading software company with a branch in Dresden specializing in enterprise software. Then there is the Technical University in Dresden. It is one of the oldest and most prestigious universities in Germany, also hosting numerous research institutes. And it also holds the distinction of being an excellence university. Then there is the Fraunhofer Institute for Material and Beam Technology, the IWS, a leading research institute that engages in applied research in the fields of material sciences and beam technology. The Max Planck Institute for Molecular Cell Biology and Genetics is also located in Dresden, an important research institute that deals with the biological and genetic questions of today's humanity. Volkswagen is also located there, specifically in the Transparent Factory, an extremely impressive building which serves as the production site for modern automobile manufacturing and is an important location for Volkswagen in Germany. Employment has increased by 8.5% since 2009, and the unemployment rate is low, 6.8%. A significant growth sector in Dresden is indeed the semiconductor industry and science. The city has recently forged a regional alliance for the establishment of TSMC, the Taiwanese chip manufacturer, this semiconductor factory, which continues to strengthen the economic significance of Dresden. These developments offer enormous opportunities for investors who can benefit from the increasing demand for commercial and residential real estate. In addition to the semiconductor industry, Dresden is also extremely strong in other sectors. The automotive industry, mechanical engineering, as well as biotechnology and pharmaceuticals are just a few examples of the city's economic diversity. And thus, you naturally diversify risks because the more employers and also industries there are, the higher the probability that people in Dresden can indeed earn money. And consequently for you, for example, as real estate investors, they can and want to pay your rents. Companies like Volkswagen and Bosch have invested heavily here and create jobs as well as economic stability. Perhaps some of you who have been to Dresden are familiar with the large glass manufactory located right in the city. Then we also have the Bosch factory, which was built a few years ago, right by the highway in the north of Dresden. So if you are coming from Berlin, for example, and driving to Dresden at the northern junction, you can see the large Bosch factory on the right side, a very, very impressive building. Right next to it, TSMC is now being established, so this podcast is being recorded in August 2024. By the way, the groundbreaking for TSMC is also scheduled for August 2024, so it's just getting started now. And yes, if you take a look at the site on Google Maps, where TSMC has settled above Bosch, that's going to be a whole different ballgame. Research and innovation, that is naturally one of the biggest points in Dresden as well, because Dresden has the highest research density in Germany with 46 institutes and a multitude of collaborations between business and science. This is very closely intertwined. The TU Dresden is the only university of excellence in East Germany and a center for innovation and technological development. This strong research and innovation landscape attracts highly qualified professionals and promotes economic growth in the city. Because today, people come here to study and train and stay, because the quality of life and also the job and career opportunities are completely different from the time when, for example, I was still in training and studying. Investments in the real estate market are, of course, particularly interesting. In Dresden, in 2023, Dresden recorded 16 new settlements among others with a volume of over 10 billion euros, which led to the creation of 2,682 jobs. Investors from various countries, including Taiwan, Germany, the United Kingdom, and China, have recently increased their investments in Dresden. The real estate market in Dresden offers excellent investment opportunities due to the rising demand and insufficient housing supply. The rents per square meter can be somewhat clustered. You can imagine, for example, in new constructions. Within the city, rents average between 14 and up to 18 euros per square meter. Cold. Of course, it depends a bit on the location, the amenities, and the size. Rents in existing buildings, meaning buildings that are somewhat older, perhaps with apartments that have been worn out from the inside over several decades, typically range between 7 and 10 euros per square meter, up to 9 euros net cold in new rentals. If you have an existing property and add a modernization to it, this is one of the models we often implement with our clients because it offers very strong tax advantages. And on the other hand, it also makes the investment extremely attractive for new rentals. So a modernized property, meaning bringing it to a condition from the inside that is very close to a new build visually. This allows you to generate rents that range between 10 euros and 12.50 euros per square meter, excluding utilities. And that, of course, makes investments extremely interesting. So, what are the prices like? Land prices, for example, vary between 300 and 700 euros per square meter. In different locations, but in extremely good locations, they can easily exceed 1,000 euros per square meter. Condominiums have prices per square meter that generally range between 2,500 and 4,000 euros per square meter, depending on location, amenities, and so on. This can, of course, vary greatly. Naturally, the apartments with a higher price per square meter also tend to have a much higher rental demand and higher rental prices. Accordingly, what I mentioned earlier, the prices that are situated at the lower end, with new rentals, these are more likely apartments that have a purchase price between 2,500 and 3,000 euros per square meter, and apartments that go up to 4,000 euros, but that is really more the peak currently in the existing stock. These are the ones where you can easily get 12 or 13 or maybe even more euros per square meter in rent. Another important aspect in Dresden is, of course, tourism. Dresden, often referred to as the Florence on the Elbe, is a significant tourism destination in Germany. It is well known for its impressive Baroque architecture and cultural treasures. The city and the surrounding Elbe region attract millions of visitors annually. Do you want to hear specific numbers? I have looked them up for 2023. There were about 2.1 million visitors in Dresden and over 4.4 million overnight stays in Dresden and the Elbe region. This is an increase of 15% compared to the previous year. And by 2023, they had already reached 91% of the pre-corona level of 2019. This means that tourism within the city has also recovered extremely well. I'm curious to see what the numbers for 2024 will be. At the moment, it's summer, the city is very crowded. It's wonderful that there are so many tourists and that there is so much on offer because there is also a large and growing proportion of foreign and international guests. Currently leading, which some might not expect, is Poland. Poland currently accounts for 100,000 overnight stays in Dresden, so to speak. But there are many other important countries of origin. Many tourists come from the Czech Republic, and many also come from the USA and Japan. And, of course, they visit popular attractions like the Frauenkirche, the Semperoper, and the Zwinger, as well as the surrounding area, including the special site of Saxon, Switzerland, or the Pillnitz Castle. These are all additional attractions that are extremely popular for day trips and nature lovers. But there is still an absolute must. One should definitely come to Dresden during the Christmas season. I myself, for example, when I travel to the USA, always read during the Christmas season. Dresden, the capital of Christmas? It is said to be the capital of Christmas. And that's why you should definitely check out the Strieselmarkt. It's an absolute must because Christmas tourism is a big deal in Dresden. The Strieselmarkt is one of the oldest Christmas markets in Germany, and it is simply one of the main attractions during the Christmas season and very, very beautiful to see. December was at least last year the month with the most visitors, thanks to all the Christmas markets. There are over 10 different ones just within the city alone. Then there are others in the surrounding locations like Weinböller, Radebeul, Altkirchenbroda, but also Pirna, Heidenau. Everywhere there are additional small Christmas markets that you can visit. The city offers a variety of tourist services, including various city tours. You can rent bicycles, you can attend various events that take place throughout the year. The official tourism center definitely supports visitors comprehensively and also digitally. And Dresden is not only known for its historical sites, but also for its vibrant cultural scene with numerous festivals and events, like the International Dixieland Festival. The good transport connections, including the international airport, which in my opinion still has some potential for expansion, but maybe something will develop now due to the strong settlement of large industries in the north. Yes, there is definitely still some room for improvement, but nevertheless, you can get to Dresden very well from the main destinations, and that of course makes the journey easier via the international airport. Or if you are in the north of the city, then by car you might still need an hour, 30, an hour 40, then you are also at Bär, the Berlin airport. So that's also just a stone's throw away. Overall, Dresden offers an attractive mix of culture, history, and leisure opportunities, making it a popular destination for both domestic and international travelers. Yes, let's draw a conclusion. In hindsight, everyone probably always says, man, if only I had invested in Bitcoins back then. Yes, if only. Or if only I had bought a property on the outskirts of Munich 20 years ago, now its value has increased and multiplied so much, and so on. Everyone can make such statements in hindsight saying, if only I had done it, and then being too late and regretting it is always easy to say. But now, in Dresden, the exact moment has come that one will regret later if they haven't acted here. Dresden and its surrounding area are developing into one of the largest economic construction sites in Europe. And it offers investors extremely diverse opportunities and chances. The strong economy, the innovative power, and the tight real estate market make the city an attractive location for long-term investments. So now is the ideal time to invest in Dresden and benefit from the positive developments of this dynamic growth region. And it would be remiss if I didn't place a little self-promotion here now. So if you are looking for suitable investment opportunities that fit you and work for you, both from a tax perspective and a return perspective, and want to achieve long-term success, then we have the appropriate network in Dresden with the service providers you need around the property. And we help you find the right investment for you and set it up for you. Whether you are doing this for the first time or you are already experienced and have gathered a lot of experience, and now want to professionalize the whole thing a bit more, we find the right solution for every level of investor, whether large or small, the right entry point. Therefore, feel free to contact us via the contact form. Leave us a message. I definitely read every message personally and look forward to hearing from you. Subscribe to the channel and see you next time. Yours, Fabian.